Welcome back, Danksters and Dankettes. We are back in the studio. Microphone should be popping. We should be good. Excuse me. We should be good. Microphone should not be popping, actually, but we are popping up in here. I was a little late because I got a notification. It was like, oh, your silver. One of my silver. I ordered a bunch of silver. This was one of like 10 ounces that I got on the way. This is not an ad, but I highly encourage people. Silver just dipped, so I bought some at $67 an ounce. This is one of them that I recently got. I have some gold on the way. I just bought like $500 worth of gold and like $1,200 worth of silver. So I highly encourage people to be hedging your fiat, because right now this is what we are experiencing. Yeah, it's a fear situation, and fear drives the market of gold and silver up, right? But you shouldn't buy out of fear. You should buy out of protection. It's not financial advice. And honestly, what we've seen in the war of Iran, the entire situation in the Middle East, all of these things that are happening, it would be smart to hedge your bets. When I say that, I mean, if you have cash savings, you're like, this is the way I look at savings in cash versus investments versus metals. Okay. For me, I am much better off saving my money in an investment account because I spend money. I am just a degenerate spending person. So, what I always encourage is to invest into things that are hopefully going to make you money if you understand how that works, or work with an investment account. That way, you're able to have your money there. And then if you need it, you can pull it out. But once you start investing and you start seeing the benefits of your investments, then you don't want to pull the money out, right? So for me, I feel a lot better having my money in investments. But that's not what today is about. Today, we're going to be discussing something a lot more interesting. If you saw my video from yesterday, you know that I did talk about the alleged insider trading. I don't, at this point, I don't even think it's alleged. I'm pretty damn sure it's insider trading. And I made a post right now. It's doing pretty good. I think it's got like 80,000 impressions on X. My video on YouTube is doing pretty well as well. So for branching out, kind of opening up past Turning Point USA topics, but it all kind of comes together, right? And I think that's the important thing to know, is that Turning Point USA is a part of this system. All right, it's a part of the MAGA insider, like, yo, we scratch your back, I scratch yours. But the thing is, they're like a few steps down. Truth be told, if you're not in the White House like regularly and you work with them and you're doing deals with them and making things happen around the world for them, for the Trump administration, that's what I say when I say them, Trump. Just think about Trump and his entire inner circle, all the people that you see on these press conferences. They are the ones that are benefiting the most from some of the most egregious acts of what they would call investing. And nobody's actually come out and said like, oh, these are our accounts. And I don't think that they probably should, because then they would be putting a target on their back. And we're going to cover a lot of things, but and we're going to move a little bit quickly, and there's going to be no detours. All right. There's a lot to cover. I'm glad to be back in the saddle, and we're here with Wi-Fi, fully wired up, fiber optics. They had to come and actually reconnect not just me, but 3 different houses were cut, and it was all my line. Nobody else complained about, because like some of them don't even have fiber or this internet service. To be honest, I think it was Spectrum. I'm not big on like I'm being targeted because I'm nobody really. Maybe I am though. Who knows? It makes for a better story. So maybe they're targeting me. It feels like TPSA is targeting me. But in reality, like, are they sending people out to cut wires? Probably not. Was it Baron and his mods? Maybe. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not. It's definitely not. I think it's actually the competition competitor, because recently out here they started a fiber optics, and Frontier Verizon was the first one. We got them It's like $30 a month for 1,000 up and down or 1 gig. And Spectrum's a little late, so we switched from Spectrum. Whatever, you don't need to hear all that. So we're back in the saddle. So I want to start with a post. I'll show you, and I did bring it up last night. Let me find the Unusual Whales post. We're going to go through and do some commentary on some of this stuff here. Well, I'll tell you what it is, and then we'll go through it. So there was a post that reached like close to 35 million impressions and a lot of likes, and it became really the anchor for this entire news cycle regarding this insider trading stuff happening. And you have to realize this insider trading can only happen if you have intelligence when you're betting at these types of levels with this amount of money. Institutional money can do it, but you need some, like, if you're doing that, you need some insider type of information. Now, there's this account, Unusual Whales. Let me see if I could just find it. Unusual Whales. It's right here. They posted this, and it really started to spark a lot of online debate. Let's go ahead and share the screen. Window. Unusual Whales right here. Yeah, right here. Oops. Uh-oh. It's too big. Is it too big? What's going on? Or am I too big? Hold on. Let me fix my camera. Sorry. Okay, that should be better. There we go. Update layout. Let me fix this one as well. Make sure I'm not. Okay. Oh, it's me, actually. I'm an idiot. It's actually me. Okay. There we go. All right. So this post breaking just 5 minutes before Trump's announcement to halt the attacks on Iran, massive trades reportedly hit the market. In one move, $1.5 billion in S&P 500 futures was bought, while $192 million in oil futures was sold. These orders were 4 to 6x larger than anything else at the time. The trader seemingly made huge gains. Futures, all right, if you don't know what futures is when you bet on, I can show you actually. So for example, if we were to go to crude oil futures, we could look at white light crude oil. Okay. And if you want to bet on something, for example, you want to make a futures trade. When you hear futures, you can say, hey, I want to take this money and I am going to, there's lots of ways to do it. All right. When it comes to derivatives, futures, you're basically betting on what the price is going to be from now. All right. So you could even place an order on a futures trade, and it doesn't even have to go in right now. You could say, if it comes down to this point, like, you can make money so many ways when you know what's happening on the market. And I'll tell you how. All right. This is the 1 hour time frame. Will it give me a 15-minute on the free tier? Okay. I'm not paying for this charting stuff anymore. So this is when it happened. All right. This is when it happened. So Monday was here, right? And so this is the time frame that it happened. 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. These trades were placed. All right. So you can place a trade and say, hey, right here, like 15 minutes before, because that's what happened, they placed their trade. All right. And you can actually say, I want to sell off. All right. Sell off down here. And then I want to buy once it hits this target price. Because if you're going to sell off, you're basically, when you're selling a futures order, okay, if you hit it at market or even limit order, what's going to happen, maybe not so much limit, but a market order is going to shove the price down. So imagine you have $192 million that you want to sell into the market. Okay. I'm just giving you an example of how this could work. And you want to do a market order. You might lose money selling at market order. So the thing is, because of the news, you already know that the price is going to retrace, is going to pull back, it's going to dump based off of news. Okay. So you could place a limit order here, or you could open a futures sell, a short. All right. Which means you want the chart to go down. So you put $192 million. You could also put leverage, which means If you're trading with leverage, then you could say, I want to multiply my money times 2x, 3x. So I don't know if they had a leverage trade. I could actually look that up while we do this, and find out if this was a leverage trade. Was this a leveraged futures trade on oil? Can you find out? I don't think we can find out. We might be able to. I mean, if it was on, I don't know, it was on crude oil markets. So you could see what this is, how you make so much money and why it's such a rub, right? If you know it's going to fall, all you have to do is put a bunch of money on there. And what happens is everybody who is like, all right, we're going to attack the energy grid, and oil, like the Strait of Hormuz is going to, and oil is just going to skyrocket in price. That's what people were preparing for. All right. So imagine all of these people are preparing for this insane jump in price. Okay. Because of the fact that we're going to attack apparently the Strait of Hormuz, or the energy grid. Okay. And if that's the case, then oil will go up. So I just want you to look at the chart. Let me fix my camera. I want you to think about the chart in a simple way. It doesn't have to be complicated. These are time frames. All right. This is where things are easier for me. I can explain in a simple way because this is what I've done for years. These are time frames. Each candlestick represents price action on this. If I change this time frame, the candlesticks will change. So each price, each bar represents a time frame. Okay. So this is so how much money the price changed. The price is over here. So at the beginning of this 15-minute time frame, it was $99.21. Okay. By the end of the 15 minutes, throughout it came down and it hit 84.93, which is a local low. All right. But it actually pulled back up because there's a lot of buy pressure, because people are like, what is going on here? Now you have to remember, people that are long on this futures trade, they actually get liquidated. So say you have a futures trade up here, or they get stopped out. And I'll try to keep this simple. All right. If you have your money, say we both have our money right here. All right. And we want to both place a bet. Okay. Let me put this right here. So let's say this is me and I'm coming down here because, I like to win. Right here, right? And I'm right here. This is my position. And I want it to go down, okay? Let's put an arrow. I want it to go down. This is Danks, all right? Right here. Danks. Betting down, okay? And then you want to bet up, okay? And you want to bet up. All right, let's just copy that and bring it up. Let's see if we can't move it. No. I guess whatever. You are betting to go up. All right. You could just look at markets as betting, whatever. It's trading, it's betting, it's the same shit. All right. So what happens is this. All right. If you see a position reversing, all right, and can I get any lower? 5 minutes? Will it let me? Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're on the 5-minute time frame. I mean, this happened within a 5-minute candlestick. Think about that. The market dumped from $99 all the way down to $84, which is 15% in less than a 5-minute time frame. That is insane. I didn't even look at this yet. So I'm doing this together with you for the first time. So I want it to go down. You want it to go up. Obviously, I'm making money and you're not. But the whole time, as it's going down, whoever is betting for it to go down, and we're going to get to the Polymarket stuff shortly, but if you're trading for this to go up, every time it goes down in this price, okay, as it comes down in the price, you're losing money. So imagine you have hundreds of millions of dollars in various traders placing trades, and they're like, oh, it's going to go up. Why is it going down? Well, this happens so fast, you can liquidate which means they lose their money. So say you have your bet and you want it to go up and you put 50 million or 500,000 or 10,000 or 500, whatever, you want it to go up. As the chart is coming down, it's going like from here, it's like 490, 472, 300, 34, like 270, 250, 100. Oh shit, I'm at $50. I started with 10 grand. That's what happens, right? And if you have leverage, then you get liquidated much faster because the exchange will offset the price that you would lose money. So it multiplies. So if you were to lose all your money, maybe you would never actually get liquidated. Oops. Maybe you wouldn't actually get liquidated. All right. But you would lose half of your money down here. All right. And you would lose all your money at like $66. But if you use leverage, like 3x leverage, you could lose your money at $89. And that's all your money in that trade. So that's kind of an easy way to explain like up versus down and what they did. And the only way you would know is like, bro, Trump is literally like, we could look at the announcements. Trump wants to attack Iran energy grid warning. Let's see if we can find news from the other day, right? 2 days ago. What's today? Thursday. So 4 days ago. So if you think about, I see you out there, Christy. I'll see your super chat in a second. Is this thing going to go or what? Hopefully it loads. It doesn't want to load. We need something from 4 days ago. Threatens to obliterate. Here, there's one from Breaking Point. All right. Trump threatens to obliterate Iran's power plants as Iran strikes 2 Israeli cities. This looks really bad, right? And Trump is like, we saw it. We're going to attack the grid, and this is the last warning. And everyone, like even Valhalla, was on YouTube, and I referenced him in my video, okay? And we'll go to Valhalla, right? And just look, I mean, even just recently in his videos, he made here 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, MAGA enraged, United States. So probably around here, I don't know. I thought the United States just surrendered the war. Sean Ryan, I'm pretty sure he said it in here.
And in classic Don Zoo fashion, at the same time we're lifting sanctions on Iran's oil, we're also talking about doing a ground invasion into Kharg Island to stop the flow of Iranian oil into the market.
Okay, so that right there, like he's the only one I really watch when it comes to the military stuff, right? So think about how many other people across the world are covering, oh, we're about to attack Iran and their energy grid. So what does that mean? That means oil is going to skyrocket. The barrel is going to go up in price. So anyone with half a brain would bet, not anyone with half a brain, it's actually a very high risk trade. But if you look at the chart, you're like, all right, well, oil is definitely going up. I mean, it dipped. This is actually the perfect place to buy too. It pulled back. All right. It pulled back right here. And it's like triggering for another move up. And it's the perfect place to make money if you are extremely bullish on the fact that it's going to go up. But what do? They make all of these crazy announcements. We're going to attack. We're going to shut down the energy grid. People are already bracing for impact with the pricing of oil and gas. It's already going up. So most people would say oil is going to go up, right? I want to put a poll in the chat if I'm explaining this. Do you understand what I'm talking about right now? I'll just put yes or no. Vote in the chat on YouTube for me. We are also on Rumble, X, and we're on YouTube. We're going to start streaming on Instagram, maybe even Facebook soon, and maybe even other X accounts that I have. So, but anyways, does this make sense, right? If you think about it, what happened though? They walked it back, right? They walked it back to a point of complete reversal. So at that time, let me find the post. Trump at 6:30 a.m. I think I can find that post. So yeah, this is what's crazy about it is not only can the person who wanted the chart to go down, am I glitching out or something? Why am I glitching? Let me see what's going on. I feel like I'm glitching for some reason. Yeah, I am glitching. Let me see why I might be glitching so I can fix it. Can you guys tell me in the chat? Is my camera like kind of glitchy and stuff? Let me know. Is my audio okay? Or is it just me? Because I feel like I'm glitching. And I'll have to fix something real quick. Let me close that. Let me close this. It might have been. What is it that's doing that? Hold on one second. I have a feeling I'm glitching. I don't know why. How to fix it. Where I'm at. No glitch, not glitching. Mouth not watching words, but now I'm glitching. Let me see if there's a reason for that. It might be. Oh, you know what? It's probably Trading View. Yeah, it's that damn site. That's how like much energy that site takes up. Okay, maybe. Let me check my. Hold on. Let me see if there's something in my apps that's like causing me to get all this weird memory stuff. Oh, I know why. I forgot I was recording a session from a meeting earlier. That's why. Durr. Okay. Now it should be better now. We're good. My bad. I literally was recording a session. Okay. Anyways. So now you understand a little bit of, I want to go back now to TradingView and show you why it's so damning on the flip side of it. Okay. And what's crazy about how you can make the money in such a way that's both sided. Okay. So imagine okay, that's the 5-minute chart. Where are we at? So imagine you're right here. All right. And not only do you bet for it to come down, but you know that it's going to go so low that you can immediately place a long. So not only can you short the market and make the money going down, you can then use all your profits and buy for it to go back up. You see what I'm saying? And look, surely it does. It goes back up to $94. It's not going to stay at this price. Okay. It's not going to stay at, when you have a like a dramatic pullback, like a dump, the market always corrects, at least temporarily, and then it'll eventually end up back wherever it dumped from, for the most part, when it's a stable market like crude oil. All right. So when it dumps, like, it's like a Bitcoin dump, bro. That is a Bitcoin dump. You already know you can long it and you can let it just cycle itself right back up. Okay. So you make money on both sides, which is the sick part. And if you know what you're doing and you have insider information, so imagine like I said in my video, which I'll just play that part because it's perfect, to be honest. This is the best way to explain exactly what this is about and how this is so damning, because you have to have a certain amount of information in order to get this done. Let me find the part right here where I talk about it. Yeah, right here. So imagine this. Here. Audio's on. And is that congressional financial disclosures covers stocks, it covers bonds, crypto, and commodities, but prediction markets, these event contracts are not mentioned anywhere. All right. They're not in-house rules. There's no Senate rules. There's no White House guidelines. So are you understanding where this can get very dirty very easily, very quickly? All right. A senator could walk out of a classified military briefing, sit in their car, open up Polymarket on their. This is the part that you need to understand. And I will play it back again because this is the most damning part. This is the issue. If you are Okay, so say you are somebody that's in these meetings, someone in the Congress or the House or whatever, whoever's tight in their circle that they know exactly what's going to happen. They can do exactly what I'm going to say here, and I'll play it again. Dirty very easily, very quickly. All right. Are you understanding where this can get very dirty very easily, very quickly? All right. A senator could walk out of a classified military briefing, sit in their car, open up Polymarket on their phone, and imagine that. Go into a hearing and then go to Polymarket, open up your phone and place a bet because you know what's going to happen in the world, right? Why wouldn't you do that if you had, and people say, oh, it's not that much money. It's probably just some goofball. Dude, you can't on Polymarket. There's not people betting tens of millions of dollars like that on this type of position. And if so, you're definitely going to be under scrutiny. The smart move is to, I've had conversations with people about this and like what is the best way for these people to get away with it? And it's the overall consensus is to bet small. 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 maybe. And then you make a $500,000, you make a 10x, you make $1 million, something like that. Bet $50,000 on the timing of a strike and print $500,000 or more. So that's what I'm trying to say. So if you know this information is coming, then you'd be wise to bet small. Let me find that post. I think Axio made a post here. We'll show you the Axio post that they talk about. And then I'm going to see if they also have the Trump post. I just kind of I was doing some business and wanted to go live. So I'm not really super prepared, but I do have all my equipment here since I have my internet back. So we can navigate very easily. U.S. negotiating with senior Iranian official Trump. So this was on the 23rd. So the 23rd was on Monday. Okay. All right. So 23rd was on Monday. And does this have a timestamp on it? I wonder if Trump posted it. So it says right here, President Trump told reporters his envoys had been negotiating with a senior Iranian official and claimed the parties agreed on many points. All right. This is kind of where I think he posted a Truth Social. So they kind of explain what is going on here. And I think this is based off of the post from Trump. So let's find the Truth Social post. $7 a.m. I think I can find it if we just let me search for it real quick, because this will give you an idea of the speed of which it happened. Patrols says, I am pleased to report last 2 days. Let me try this. Yeah, here it is, 3 days ago. So right here at 7:05 a.m. All right. And these trades hit the market at 6:49 and 6:50. So if I open up side by side and I show you the trades, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Let me find the trades. I have them right here. Grok X Adam Cochran right here. So let's put them side by side. All right. Okay. So these are the oils trades. Adam Cochran posted it 5 minutes before Trump's announcement. 1.5 billion notional worth futures are bought in a single clip. All right. 192 million notional of oil futures sold in a single clip. All right. So more than 4x or 6x any other trade size during that market close. So basically, let's see if so this is the S&P 500 mini, and then this is the oil trades. So the chart I was showing you before is oil trades. So oil will come down based off of this news that I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants, and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. Thank you for your. Think about this, bro. All of these crazy announcements. We're gonna do this and that and this, but then how come you don't say you're in discussion? You know what I mean? Like for all the days up to it, people are like, you've got 24 hours to respond. It's fear mongering and creating the market to move, right? So not only is it, hey, let's get people to think that the oil is going to go up in price so that we can take, because that money comes from somewhere. It's not just sitting in there. You know what I mean? It's people, it's retail traders like me, you, people that do this for a living from home, people that work at companies, people that work at investment companies that are futures trading with a small portion of people's portfolios and their own. Not only that, it's not just that. It's also the S&P 500 mini. So if we go back and we look at SP 500 mini, I haven't looked at this one in a minute. You just do S&P. Let me see, what does the chart say here? S&P 500 E mini. Let's do E mini. E mini. S&P 500 E mini. S&P 500 E mini. E dash mini. We'll put it, I guess I had it right here. Right here. Okay. This is the 15-minute. Let's go to the 1 hour. So this is the thing. Is right here. Everyone's thinking that it's two folds. Okay. So remember, I showed you the chart. If oil is going to go down, it's because the news is good. If oil is going to go up, it's because the news is bad, because the Strait of Hormuz being closed and it restrains our oil and so on. If it's not bad and we're not going to attack the energy grids and we're not putting the global oil at risk, then the price of oil will come down. But there was so much pressure built up and this large sell order that it shoved the market down based on this news, and also everybody else piling in, reversing their trades. Okay? I'm trying to keep it simple. Let me see what the poll says. Yes, you do understand. Okay, cool. So now let's look at futures on S&P 500. The S&P 500, if the news is, it's similar, right? Like if the news is good, then the chart is going to go up. It's just the opposite, because oil, good, price goes down. Stocks, good, price goes up, right? Because we want the price of oil to be cheaper. But when it comes to stocks, you want your stocks to go up in value. So that's why it might be confusing if you look at it like, why is one up and the other down? It's just because of the way the economy works. If you want the oil to go down in price, and if the news is good about oil and energy infrastructure, the price will go down. Now with stocks, you have these people placing trades right before here. All right. So at 6:49 to 6:50 a.m. So if we look at the 5-minute chart and we come back over here to the 23rd and look at the time frame, because I'm in California. All right. It's 5 minutes. So at what time did it say? 6:49 to 6:50. So 3:30. So right here. So at this time, you have people placing longs, saying, like, before Trump is announcing all of this stuff, most people are probably thinking, if you look at the way this chart is going, there's no way you'd imagine it just skyrocket the other direction when all of this talks on war and attacking Iran's energy is going to go in a good news. At the very best, it might be like, we're going to kind of see, like, we're giving you another 24 hours. Maybe that's the case. But like a full-blown, our conversation, like the information is so positive. The way that they're trying to give it to us is it forces this massive uptick in positivity in the market. So it reflects in S&P 500 E-mini futures in a dramatic way. Because if we look at the post itself, where is it? It's very positive as to where all the posts before that. I mean, I'm sure he posts so much crap. Can we find True Social? Trump's Truth. Here, Truth Social. Let me go to the account. I have an account. I never use it. Let's see, Truth Social. It's gonna ask me to log in. Hold on one second. We log in, and we can look at. Oh, I'm in my old crypto Danks account. Look at that. Okay, so let's go find Donald Trump, and we can look at his truths. He posts a lot, actually, constantly posting. So we can go back and look at these truths from back when he was talking about the whole leading up to the attack. And you'll see, okay. So look at the fear mongering. It starts, right? Okay, let me show you the fear mongering and how it starts. It's right here. Right here. Blue states drive high electricity. So they're talking about energy pricing. Okay. Data centers and energy. Okay. Led Biden price hikes. Just constantly this fear mongering from the White House and the president himself. Natural gas production, trying to create like, hey, we're going to have, like, you have to look at this from an investor's perspective. If Trump is posting the USA is the global leader in natural gas production, is he saying, oh, well, we're going to have to start relying on our natural gas because the oil in Iran is going to be compromised? Okay. The USA is the global leader in oil production. And if this is the case, then why aren't we getting the oil prices we deserve? That's another thing. It's like they rub this shit in our face, and then we have to dealing with all of these price issues with Iran's oil. If we are the global leader, then why does it matter what happens in the Strait of Hormuz? Oh, guess what? Because they're selling the oil to everybody else at a more cost than what we're paying for it. You believe it or not, if you go to Costa Rica, gas is like $12, $15 a gallon. They charge for a liter, right? How much is gas per liter in Costa Rica, for example? Let's see what it says. $1. Oh, okay, that's cheap. So $1.36. So I thought it would be more than that. So the last time I was there was like $2.20, and it was much cheaper here. How about what is the most expensive gas? Actually, where is the USA gas being sold primarily today? This is what I want to know. Yeah, so this is all market manipulation stuff that I'm telling you about, but we're diving into more about the oil. And okay, while most gasoline produced in the U.S. is consumed domestically to meet local demand, the United States has become the world's largest exporter. Like, I don't believe that we get the oil first. You have to understand like this. I worked in food and beverage for a long time. When you work, it's so crazy because I worked in seafood restaurants on the ocean in Miami Beach. We actually would order seafood. I don't think we had any, like we had one special dish that would come locally from like the Florida Keys. It's the same thing. You sell it somewhere else that wants what you have, so you can sell it for more. The transport cost, the packaging, the distribution chain, and you make money by selling it at a higher cost somewhere in Oregon or maybe Wisconsin that can't get Miami fresh Florida fish. And then we are buying, because we're selling all of our fish from Florida to Wisconsin and Idaho or whatever, we're buying bass from California in Florida. It's just crazy. Like that they do. This is exactly how all of this stuff works. Commodities and markets is that way. They want to sell it for as much. They don't care about local people. So I don't even buy that we are the Americans getting our oil. I don't think that. I think we're getting some oil from somewhere in freaking Venezuela probably, and probably not even that, because you know who gets that. And if you don't know, the company that's brokering the deal in Venezuela is sending money to Israel and building technological infrastructure and using the money from the oil in Venezuela in order to build out in cash schools and businesses in the Middle East instead of here. So that money from Venezuela is not coming here, just so you guys know. Shout out to Barron for doing the research on that. So anyways, the vast majority of gas refined in the U.S. is sold within the country, it says. U.S. refineries primarily focus on meeting domestic demand. International gasoline exports. For the surplus gasoline that is exported, around 902,000 barrels per day, that was last year. Mexico is the largest destination, accounting for over 54% of all U.S. gasoline exports. Then you have Central and South America, the Bahamas, Canada, and then you got liquefied natural gas going to Asia. Think about why do all of that when we could have gas cheaper? They don't want to sell. Like, in history, has gas ever shot up? You have to be concerned about this stuff. Gas does not go up and then come back down cheaper. Okay. It's like, it's the worst chart in the world. If we were to look at it as a chart, I mean, you can look at it right here. Let's look at the gas chart. I'll just search for it right here. Okay. I see Margaret crude. Let's look at it over a daily time frame. Okay. It's very rare that once you start getting a price info, let's look on the weekly. Okay. On the weekly chart, this goes back to 2016. There was a time period where the barrel came down in 2020, but when the gas starts going up, long term, it does not intend to come back down. We're not going to see it down at $20 a barrel. That was during COVID time. All right. Look, it's a never ending increase, and they needed to force it back up here. And this is what we've got, man. They are not going to allow us to buy cheaper when they've already got us paying. Think about it like this. Say you own a business, right? And something happens where you have like the best soup in the world, right? You have the best soup in the world. Everybody loves the soup, but there's an ingredient in that soup for like a month. Say your soup is $1.50. And then that ingredient, call it a beef stew, and the special type of beef is from Japan, and it's whatever, and you were getting it, you could charge it for $1.50. But there's a shortage on this beef in Japan all of a sudden. So you have to pay extra because you got to buy the beef that they wanted to sell to somebody else because there's a restricted supply. So now your soup goes up to $4.50. All right. If your sales are not changing, your amount of purchases is like, all right, well, they're still willing to pay $4.50 because they just need this freaking soup. Wouldn't it be a wise business move to just maybe bring it down to like $3.75 or $3? You're doubling your previous sell price, but you're increasing it, you see, because people need it. They want it. Gas is the same thing. It's worse, actually, because people really need gas. Soup, you can get away with. Thanks for the super chat, Christy. Good morning to the smartest person I actually trust info from. Hey, shout out to you. I'm not that smart. I promise I'm not that. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Good to see you too. What's up to everybody in the chat? So I just wanted to kind of explain that as we get through. They're really calling this a serious issue here. Okay. There's someone named Peter Schweizer. He's investigating now the trades that are happening in Polymarket. And Peter Schweizer, he actually wrote what's called the Stock Act. Let me pull it up. Stock Act, Peter Schweizer. I think he wrote the Stock Act, if I'm not tripping. Yeah, I think he did. Let's take a look. Peter Schweizer, American political consultant and writer. He is the president of Government Accountability Institute, editor at large for Breitbart News, which actually is interesting because Steve Bannon is also involved in Breitbart News, but he's a conservative investigative journalist. All right. He also is the author of a book called from 2012 called Throw Them All Out, which documented congressional insider trading in such a specific receipts on the table detailed manner that it created a federal law called the Stock Act. Sorry. Now I'm remembering. He didn't create the law. He wrote this book, and he basically documented all of this information, and they were forced to create a federal law around it. The Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act was enacted, and Schweizer literally built the regulatory fence designed to prevent exactly what we are witnessing right now. So shout out to this man. So this week, he actually sat down with Breitbart News. We're going to play some of the clip, and he discusses basically outrage and demands a federal investigation. Let's pull up the video. It's right here. We could let's go to the YouTube page. Is this time stamped? Yeah, it is. So let me see if I can see the 500 here. He explains it. Let's see a few of these things. The War Room leak. Let's look at this. Right.
This is with only a few people, right? Real money that's been made in ways that shift the market. And just consider the context. This is based on information that should be decided in a room with only a few people, right? This is not like a large congressional committee getting together. This is the war room. These are people in Donald Trump's inner circle who are making the decisions. And somehow word gets out from that, and it makes its way to people who can then shift the market in a real way. This is at a time, and people pointed this on Twitter. I mean, the larger context is we're all paying for this war with the, gas is expensive, right? Yeah. And people are making money on insider trading. I'm older enough to remember Peter Schweizer. Martha Stewart, remember her?
Yeah. You gotta know, she's got to be, Martha Stewart has got to be freaking pissed, bro. How did she go to jail, prison, when all this shit's going on? Can you imagine? I feel bad for Martha Stewart. So this guy coming out, the one that created the influence to make a stock act against insider trading and like congressional information insider trading. This guy is now sitting down talking about it. You know that there's a big light on these dudes' heads, a green light to go after him, because he's not going to stop. All right.
Went to prison, and this is a little trivia for you. Do you remember how much her trade saved her that sent her to prison for, I believe, 5 months?
I think it was wasn't it like $40,000?
It was Peter Schweizer knows other people's money better than anyone else. That's it.
Wow. She went to prison over $40K, bro. Imagine that. Holy smokes.
It's a superpower.
Is it $40,000?
$45,000.
45, pretty good.
Yeah, sold 3,928 shares of M-Clone stock after receiving some inside. So the point is, we have seen other people on far less significant things face very real consequences for this. And we're all just like, hey, look at that. Yeah. And as we were discussing before we started recording this, there's a commission who exists to regulate trades on the Futures Commission. Yeah. They're supposed to have 5 commissioners. It's the CFTC.
Commodity Futures Trading Commission.
Commodity Futures Trading Commission. 5 commissioners. They currently only have 1.
Oops.
So that's another thing. And that's in my video too. I'll explain. I'll just have it explained right here. This is what they did. Okay. So they actually took away the disclosure. Or Trump Jr. acquired Polymarket. So before Trump Jr., this explains it all, but ultimately, I'll give you a quick breakdown. Trump Jr., Polymarket, the website Polymarket. Let me pull it up. Polymarket. Okay, polymarket.com is here. Okay. This is where you can, if you've never heard of it, this is where you can place bets on anything. And it's a blockchain-based betting program. So you can hook up your wallet and you can bet in Polygon. And so you can literally bet on anything. You got sports betting, you've got oil, Iran. Okay. I might get in here too. I don't know. I'll probably lose all my money. But essentially, if you look at this, will crude oil hit whatever price by end of March? $95 up, $100 up. Yes, yes, no, no. It's all it takes. And then you could say how much, yes or no. It's just yes, no markets. So these are called predictive markets. You got Iran ceasefire. You can come in and I think you can even place your own, you can make your own bet. Anybody can make their own bet. Strait of Hormuz, Kharg Island no longer under Iranian control by, right? So this is what that is, okay, to give you an idea of what we're talking about when we say Polymarket, okay? So I'm going to explain. So this program, this website was under, was being investigated. Why is my thing going down? Is it Polymarket that does that? Yeah, Polymarket is some of these websites are so thick that they actually Polymarket that they investigation that they slow down my computer for some reason. Okay, so here I'll show you this real quick. So Polymarket was under investigation, and then Trump administration actually stopped the investigation. Okay, and then behind the scenes, Trump Jr. was working a deal to buy Polymarket. So he had to get them to not be like, think about this. If you're going into the presidency and you know you're going to have control of the market and what could happen globally, what better way than to go to a place like Polymarket where you could place trades on global catastrophe or the lack of it, and use social media to influence the market by creating fear and then making people place bets. This is the most crude one, because, or the sinister one, because think about it. You're using people's emotions through social media and a predictive betting market that you own as the administration to manipulate the outcome of people's money. And if you own the website itself and you are in the White House, then you're able to stop any investigation, or you're able to at least control the scrutiny and the outcome, at least for the years that you're in the White House. Not only that, I'll let this handsome gentleman explain it. Or step 3, drop the DOJ investigation into Polymarket. Right here. Jumped moments after the oil trade.
It's disgusting. And let me add this. The U.S. SEC's ex-enforcement chief clashed with bosses over Trump cases before leaving, according to sources. This is from Reuters. So I saw someone flag on Twitter that this enforcement chief over at the SEC had just resigned earlier this month, right before, this level of insider trading is clearly happening in conjunction with the war. And so Reuters was able to get the scoop about what was actually going on here. And lo and behold, it was over a lack of enforcement, especially with cases that have ties to Trump and the Trump family. Of course, they deny it.
Of course they deny it. I mean, why would they admit it? You're going to put yourself in hot water. They're going to have to go and look. And if these are blockchain trades, good luck. Blockchain trades are going to be very, very hard to find, especially on the White House, especially anybody in general. That's the point of trading on the blockchain, is that there's no name attached to it. There's no IP address attached to it. It's a wallet address that's a bunch of letters and numbers. It's super hard to actually find, you know what I mean? Unless you can track through like Coinbase. There's a whole process. Maybe you could, and there are strategies to find out who owns a wallet if you are the likes of Circle or Coinbase or some of these tracking agencies that are built into the things like USDC. Which, real quick before I let myself continue, they are saying, let me put in the chat and poll. Do you know what a stable do you know what a CBDC, centralized bank digital currency is? And then you can also type it in the chat, but let me see if you know, if you understand what this is, and I'll explain it. Let me read this super chat in the meantime. Please vote in the poll. I need to know so I can explain that if you don't, and explain why I mentioned USDC. What's up, Crystal? Thanks for the dub. Appreciate you. Crystal Saves Animals. She's got a YouTube channel. You might want to check her out. Good to see you. See your face, Dankster. We appreciate this info big time. We all need to be educated about this stuff. Why should they be the only ones making money? Love Danks and everyone in chat. Go Max for everyone. We deserve it. Thank you, Crystal. You know, I really appreciate that. And yeah, we have to bring awareness. You know, like I see a lot of news channels talking about this stuff, but why wouldn't I? I'm the perfect person to speak on this because I know how all these markets work. It's been a few years since I've talked about it and stuff. I don't really trade much. I just invest right now. But to be honest with you, this stuff is very important to understand why and how it works so you can get how egregious this stuff is, how crazy the chart moving and why it moves the way it does and why it's so ridiculous. All right, I'm seeing the votes. There's only 26 votes. There's 164 people watching. Can you please let me know if you know what a CBDC is on the vote in the poll so I can explain it real quickly for you? And before we get into it, the reason why I say that, yeah, keep voting, 33 votes. The reason why I say I need to understand if you know is because we need to get that out of the way first, and I'll try to explain it to you in a way that makes sense, because they want to create control, right? What we're seeing right now is control. So as that poll goes through, I'm going to play the rest of this. Please vote on the poll, which maybe we'll talk about one day. This right here, I'm going to explain what is going on in the market that allows them to do this without this oversight. It's very similar to what I said, how I showed you Pam Bondi had dismantled the FARA, foreign agent oversight. They did the same thing with the SEC on this channel, but I'm going to tell you exactly the architecture as I see it, and I want you to tell me if this is a coincidence. So step one, you dismantled the DOJ public integrity section from 36 lawyers down to 2. So that's done before the war. Step two is you cancel 159 federal enforcement actions against 166 companies, 30 of which donated to Trump's campaign's inauguration. That was done before the war. Step three, drop the DOJ investigation into Polymarket. They were being investigated before Trump Jr. acquired Polymarket. Then they dropped it. Trump Jr. acquired it. That was done before the war. Now Trump Jr. owns a portion of Polymarket, and you're seeing these trades happen left and right. Step four, drop the CFTC investigation into Polymarket. Again, done before the war. Step five, force out the SEC enforcement chief who wanted to pursue Trump adjacent cases, and this was done just a few weeks ago. And then you start the Iran war, and then $1.5 billion moves 5 minutes before the announcement, $500 million, whatever, 500. I mean, they keep finding more and more trades, and they're starting to tie these to the administration, or at least how else could it be anything but the administration? That's what I'm saying, right? So if you think about the only people that know for sure that can place large amounts of money, even if it's 10, 20, 50, 100,000 bucks, it's a big trade to go reverse sentiment, okay? You're literally talking about just throwing money away at a specific time period when the trade is supposed to, the bet on Polymarket is supposed to close. And then nobody's going to do that unless you know, right? It's precision betting. You have to have that information. Now I'm looking at the poll, and 70% so far say they don't know what a CBDC is. A CBDC is a centralized banking digital currency. Now, it is a digital version of the US dollar, okay? It's supposed to be what they want, what people are concerned about is imagine taking cash money away and forcing people to use a digital version of the dollar, all right? It would be issued directly by the Federal Reserve, not a commercial bank, not a private company necessarily, even though the Federal Reserve is a private entity. Every dollar in the CBDC system would exist on a government-controlled ledger, government infrastructure. So the government would be able to see every transaction. It's much different than just a bank account. It's much different, especially from cash, where they can't see any of the transaction. They would be able to see every transaction, and then you would get what's called a wallet. If you've never seen a wallet before, we could show you a Coinbase wallet. Maybe you've seen this before. Coinbase wallet right here. Okay, so they would force you, if you wanted to have your money, you would have to download your Coinbase wallet to your phone. Okay, if they were to go to the central banking digital currency route, and then all of your money, your paychecks and everything would go through this. But once you have this wallet on your phone, it attaches to your ID, all right, and to your name, to your social security number, or to your green card, or whatever it is. And then the government will be able to see everything attached to your name in every transaction. But not only that, they would be able to freeze your wallet. I think this is going to come. I'm pretty sure this is going to happen, but it's not going to happen how people are worried about. I think that they've already started it. So they'll be able to freeze any wallet. They'll be able to program the currency to expire if unspent at a certain time period or date. They would be able to restrict what you can buy with that money. So say maybe this money that you received has to be spent by the end of the month, or they were, because they want to make the government have more liquidity, they'd say you have to spend a quarter of your savings. No matter how much savings you got to spend 25% of your money, or they'll just freeze it. They'll burn it. Okay, they could literally make it so you can't do anything with those funds. All right, they could turn off your access completely without a court order. All right, it is the dollar, but it has a kill switch attached to it. This is stated architecture in the CBDC white paper published by central banks worldwide. Let me see if I can find CBDC white paper central bank explanations. Yeah, here we go. I don't want to go too far down this, but this was written in 2024. And this is a white paper. So they explain essentially how this would all work. Okay. International Working Group on Data Protection and Technology, working paper on central banking digital currency, CBDC. Main objective, scope, terminology, executive summary. A digital currency issued and backed by a central bank, the central bank meaning the Federal Reserve. Okay. So the Federal Reserve would have all control and everything like that. The majority of central banks around the world have at least researched CBDC, with several moving. CBDCs are issued by a central authority as a traditional currency, subject to laws and other applicable regulations. They're designed to be used as a digital version of a traditional currency, typically for online transactions. Okay. And may support new use cases that might impact individuals and society. Okay. If sufficient privacy protections, controls, and security safeguards are not put in place, CBDCs may provide financial entities involved. They will literally put them in charge for privacy control and security. A critical decision that must consider both benefits and costs, taking into account not only financial aspects, but also harmful consequences to society and individuals' rights. Okay, so they're trying to make a critical decision. It requires careful assessment to avoid unnecessary and disproportionate interference with fundamental rights. They're already talking about fundamental rights and all of this mess with a dollar. So just so you know, people have given so much pushback against this that's why Trump was running on. He got a lot of people's votes in crypto by saying, we're not doing a CBDC. I was in Nashville. I saw him speak in person. He said, we're not doing that. People are going to be free to do what they want with their money. But the reality is we have USDC, which is a stable coin. It's already pegged to the dollar. All right. I'll show you on CoinMarketCap. This is what CoinMarketCap looks like. And USDC is right here. So this shows all the crypto pricing, all right, by market cap, the total market cap evaluation, all right. USDC is the number 2 stable coin. There's USDT. What's interesting is this. USDC is owned by Circle. Circle is pegged to the dollar, same as USDT. This is a whole nother conversation. USDT, the owner of USDT, Sun, is Justin's son, is partners in Trump's World Liberty Financial crypto venture. I think he gave like $75 million to be a part of the base foundation of World Liberty Fi, which is a crypto by Trump. WLFI, World Liberty Financial, which is right here. This is marketed at 2.79 billion market cap. Okay. So the guy that owns the stablecoin USDT is in the pocket of Donald Trump. And USDC is already a stablecoin that has operational blockchain infrastructure that allows the ability to monitor funds as is already. It has $50 billion in circulation at this time. And the Trump administration, they passed the Genius Act. This is what made me stop talking about crypto on YouTube, because I got shadow banned. I was talking about the Genius Act, and I started uncovering all of this stuff that is control from the Genius Act perspective. The Trump admin, when they passed the Genius Act, it created a federal regulatory framework which was specifically for stable coins. And that's what this is called. USDC, which is $1. All right. If you look at it, it says 99,998. It matches $1. It doesn't move anywhere. The same with USDT. It's the same thing. They're called stable coins because they're pegged to the dollar. So when they print dollars, they're supposed to print stable coins as well. And then you could go to whalealert.io, and then you can actually see that they transfer from wallet to wallet, or they transfer from the USDC treasury. It says right here, I don't know if you can see it, or they burned at USDC treasury to inflate the to bring to balance out the dollar. There's a whole thing to this. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep into it, but they don't have to build a CBDC from scratch. That's the thing. They already have USDC, and it's already on iPhone. They're already adding it into different programs. PayPal also has a stable coin. And so the infrastructure already exists. They don't need to create a CBDC. So what's crazy is they're doing all of this financial malfeasance. They're controlling Polymarket, which is a betting platform that they can just bet the war and all of this stuff on. They have control of Circle through the government, which is also a stock. You could also go see Circle stock. And I mean, if you're smart, you probably would want to invest in Circle, to be honest, because that's where we're headed. I'm telling you for a fact, I know that they're going to make Circle USDC. Circle is the company that built USDC. They are going to make USDC our CBDC. They're going to just not say it's a CBDC. But Circle already has, I did a whole research paper a year ago about how the government can already see and control any wallet that has already had USDC inside of that wallet. Once it's like a virus kind of. Once it goes in your wallet, they can control that wallet. It's got a tracking vector inside of the blockchain data. Who's calling? Wife, she always calls at this time. Oh, potential spam. Should I answer the spam? Fuck. Spammers. So anyways, I didn't want to get too deep in that. I think I went further than I wanted to, but I wanted to explain what a stable coin is, what a CBDC is, and then how USDC is the stable coin that they're going to use and enact to control us, because we're already transacting in stable coins. Most people look at, that's why I showed you the Coinbase market, and why I showed you the very fact that they are literally already getting this into people's phones. Okay. So think about this really. USDC is the top 10 crypto traded, along with Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP and Solana. It's above Solana, in between Solana and XRP. That means that there's a shitload of people using it. And then you can see the volume and the actual liquidity. Volume means buys and sells. Okay. $10 billion over the last 24 hours of buys and sells. So there's tens of billions of dollars every single day being used and just bought and sold on exchanges. This is just tracking exchanges, not to mention all the purchasing that's going on. This is for a whole nother conversation. I can easily get sucked into talking about this for a long time, which I need to stop. All right. So I want to move on to Joe Kent. All right. But hopefully you understand like how dirty this game is and why this is an issue. Okay. This is not cool, man. You've got the government, the White House, making emotionally driven tweets and posts and truths while apparently working a backdoor deal, while the whole time creating fear in the market to make traders and institutional investment companies. The reason why people are like, well, who cares about the institutional investors? Who cares? Everybody's 401ks and 403bs are inside of those institutions. So if those institutional investors get liquidated or they lose money, it's not their money, it's your money. They trade with other people's money. That's why it matters. That's why I'm saying in my video that if you haven't seen it, you got to go back and watch it. I'll pin it in case you haven't seen it. I'll pin my video in this chat. Watch my video on this, on Trump insider trading. I pinned it. So after this, you can watch it. You can save the link or whatever. You need to watch it because I explain exactly how all of this stuff goes. It's just not cool, man. All right, where are we at? So we got to do Joe Kent and Tucker. Let me see. I want to talk now about this. Let's do Joe Kent, Tucker Carlson. Actually, let's see what people are talking about. Let's just surf the web right here. Oh, he was on. Oh, damn. He was on Sean Ryan. Should we play some of this? Do you guys want to see this? I got some time. Let me know in the chat. You want to play this? We could go look. I didn't know. It just came out 2 hours ago. Why invading Kharg Island would be a disaster. Wasn't he on there before? He was against the regime war. Oh, he's talking about Charlie Kirk.
Look, I'm not a fan of the guy. He said very strongly that Iran is not a threat.
I think a lot of people have forgotten just exactly who the fuck you are and what you've done for this country.
And I know that he lost his wife.
So this is a preview. All right, so let's go watch some of it. let me get the transcript.
I just want to commend you, man. I mean, I know that took a lot of courage. That took some serious balls.
Actually, we don't need a transcript. We have all the timestamps right here. Let me just copy and paste them. All right.
To do that, especially with the statement you made. Wow. And you know, internally, but just me myself, I haven't been happy.
I'm gonna speed it up, and then what we'll do is we'll do like 1, 1, 3, 5, and then let's go to the Israel influence.
You get a ton of hate, and you're being attacked. The FBI is coming after you. You've been accused of leaking. You've been accused of all kinds of stuff. It's ridiculous in my mind. But you know, I think the one thing that you've been accused of the most is
what was he about to say about his wife? Was it in the beginning? Here, let's just start
the statement you made. It's definitely created a lot of buzz. I just want to commend you, man. I mean, I know that took a lot of courage. That took some serious balls to do that, especially with the statement you made. Wow. And you know, internally, but just me myself, I haven't been happy about really much of anything that's been going on. I feel like it's been a 180 bait and switch from what we were told in just about every aspect. And I've been wondering, because I know there's people frustrated up there, and I've been wondering, what are you still doing in the position if you're not doing the fucking job that you were supposed to do? Why are you still there? Is it power? Is it because it's not power? They might think it's power, but if you're not able to do the fucking job that you're there to do, then you're powerless, right?
That's the conclusion I came to. I mean, after a year of
that is exactly. And shout out to Keats gifting memberships, 5 memberships. Say thanks to Keats. Say thanks. Hey, 1202. Good to see you. Gifted 1 Danks membership. Say thank you if you received one. We have Friday membership lives every Friday. I might change it. Depending on what my schedule looks like, to a different day. But for now, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Friday members only. So that's, you can do that for just 99 cents if you want to join. Now, going back to what he said here.
Yes, because it's not power. They might think it's power, but if you're not able to do the fucking job that you're there to do, then you're powerless.
That's the thing. If you are unable to actually do the job that you are there to do, when you realize it, then it's power. It's just the appearance of power. And I think that's what somebody, to me, unfortunately, Tulsi Gabbard is in. Should she quit? Maybe not, but maybe so. You can't say. Maybe it's a good paying job. I mean, we could look and see how much does Tulsi Gabbard make 2026. Let's do this. AI mode. Search. Hey, Christy, membership. Welcome. Upgraded your membership. American Dankster. I'm going to make for the tiers, because I'm supposed to make a for the members that have a certain tier. I think I'm going to just make a thing where it'll scroll like in the beginning, or maybe something where at the end of each video and at the beginning of the live, it'll show all the memberships. I think that'd be a really cool way to honor everybody. Thank you for joining, upgrading. So Tulsi Gabbard, she makes $250,000 in her role as Director of National Intelligence. What job did she have before this job? She was media personality. All right. So how much money was she estimated to make before being head of NS? DNI, sorry. Estimated to have earned more than 1.2 million. The income marked a significant increase from her previous annual salary of 174. Yeah, I mean, this is a lifestyle change right here. 174 to 250 is a lifestyle change. All right. So it goes from medium to upper medium class, upper middle, to upper class at $250,000, I would say, maybe. But it depends, because if she gave up all this stuff, I don't know. I mean, she still has her social media. We will play Sean Ryan, but let's go and actually see her. She has a YouTube account. What socials does she have? Let's go actually see what social media. Oh, Tulsi Media LLC. Oh, this is fucking news. What is that? What social media accounts does she have and is monetized? Let's take a look. So she has Tulsi Gabbard. We can go look at this right here. Let me show you something. At Tulsi Gabbard on X, on Instagram, 1.7 million followers. Each post, 52,000 likes, 473,000 likes. How many views is this? Does it say? I have no idea how to navigate this stuff right here. I don't use Instagram much. Okay, let's go to x.com/ let's go to x.com and look at Tulsi Gabbard. And she's monetized, I think, right? So Tulsi Gabbard. This is it. She's got 3.8 million followers. Every post she makes, 10 million views, 2 million views. Dude, she's making like 50,000. She's got to be making like $50,000 a month just from X. And then she's got 2. DNI Gabbard. I wonder if she makes money on this one too. Yeah, so she must have started this. She joined February of 2025. So dude, she's smart, bro. She created another account knowing that she was going to get monetized. And she created it when she became the DNI, head of DNI, the Department of National Intelligence of the United States. These people are all grifting on us, you guys. You need to understand that. It's not just what's in our face. She created a second account the day that she got into office. It's got almost 1 million followers already. And every post is getting 6 figures, 283,000, 130,000, 10 million, 575,000, 2 million on both accounts. Guys, so why would she want, now that she's got this monetized, does she do the same thing on YouTube as well? Let's go find out. Here. Tulsi Gabbard. She's got this account. And then let me see how many Tulsi Gabbard's accounts does she have? How many Tulsi Gabbard official YouTube accounts does she have? So now when you think about it, why would they want to give up their position? You have to think about these types of things. She's got the Tulsi Gabbard official YouTube account, 1.18 million subs. Okay. This one right here, one I follow. And then she's got the Tulsi Gabbard show right here. Okay. This has 250,000 subscribers. When it joined February 2021. And she posting on this 3 years ago. Shorts, anything? 2 years ago, podcasts? I don't think so. So maybe just one YouTube. But why when you could just print money and not do anything on X? You don't even have to make videos or any of that shit. But she's still posting on here. And for every video that she makes, she posts a video. Someone probably clips it for her. For every 100,000 views, she'll make $1,000. All right. So just kind of correlated to that, maybe give or take. She might get more because she's like the DNI. So this is just showing you like these people are not what we think they are, man. They're about the paper. They're gonna milk the American people for as much as fucking possible. All right. So for anyone that had hopes, kiss that shit goodbye, bro. You need to pay attention. Pay attention. All right.
Right?
That's the conclusion I came to. I mean, after a year of really, trying as hard as we could to advance what we believe the agenda was, in particular, keeping us out of endless wars, and preventing, more bloodshed overseas. And then
How can I be so intelligent? I'm just paying attention, bro. Christy upgraded. What's up?
more blowback
LBJ,
terrorism
welcome.
here. I just felt like we weren't being effective. I wasn't being effective anymore. And so for me, it's like, I don't want to stay just because I have a title, some degree of, I don't know, prestige, whatever. I don't want to stay for that. I want to stay for the mission, but then also just seeing, I'm sure we'll get into it, there's things I mentioned in the resignation letter, seeing the way we're being slow walked and then rapidly entering this war. I had to say something about it. I couldn't be a part of it once the coffin started coming back from Dover, from overseas to Dover. I just couldn't be a part of it just based on all the experiences I had previously. Because I had said to myself years ago, if I was ever in a position to prevent us from getting involved in a quagmire, I wouldn't be quiet about it. I would say something about it. And so that weighed heavily on me. But then I truly believe, like I said in the letter, that the way that the president was influenced by the media, but then also by Israeli government officials, and the way that decision making was took place in a compartmentalized environment, compartmentalized in the sense that the president didn't have much in terms of
It's a little fast for me, you guys. I'm sorry. I got to put it on normal speed.
people giving him alternative viewpoints, that our country was in a bad spot. And the most effective thing that I could do was resign publicly.
You're getting a ton of hate and you're being attacked. The FBI's coming after you. You've been accused of leaking. You've been accused of all kinds of stuff. It's ridiculous in my mind. But, I think the one thing that you've been accused of the most is people are pissed that you called Israel out.
Mm-hmm.
They're really, really upset. And they make it sound like there's zero justification for that. But, I have a couple of things right here that I want to read off. You're saying that the administration, president himself, was influenced to strike Iran for Israel's benefit. Rubio said that we hit them because Israel was going to hit them first. Then the Wall Street Journal had an article out, I think it was last week, maybe the week before. And this is quoted. To help make the case on Iran, Lindsey Graham traveled several times to Israel in recent weeks, meeting with members of the country's intelligence agency. This is in quotation. They tell me things our own government won't tell me, he said. He spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, coaching him on how to lobby the president for action. Netanyahu showed the president intelligence that persuaded Trump to go ahead, Graham said. It's Reuters about an hour ago today. Reuters. Less than 48 hours before the U.S.-Israeli strike on Iran began, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke by phone to President Donald Trump about the reasons for launching the kind of complex, far off war the American leader once had campaigned against. It's not absurd that you're saying that the president's being influenced by Israel at all. All the publications are talking about this.
Put a 1 in the chat if you think that President Trump is being influenced by Netanyahu and by the Israeli government. Excuse me. I haven't been doing a live stream, so my voice is not up to par right now. But bro, this nails this in real time, in my opinion. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that statement, right? He said Reuters. Reuters. They're sitting there going through the receipts the same way that we go through receipts here, okay? Except I show them on screen. And Marco Rubio publicly states that we had to strike Iran because Israel was going to hit them first. That is the Secretary of State, who is now, by the way, looking to run as lead for presidential 2028 instead of Vance. They're already prepping him because maybe Vance isn't as pro-Israel as they want. Maybe Marco Rubio, guess what? Do you know that? Do you want to know how much Marco Rubio? Check this out. How much money has Marco Rubio taken from AIPAC so far up to 2026 and other Israeli PAC efforts? $4.19 million in career contributions from pro-Israel interest groups and political action committees. Marco Rubio. You understand what that means, right? He was cited for over $1 million during his primary. His total increase following his transition to Secretary of State. Top pro-Israel contributors career, AIPAC. Pro-Israel America PAC. Republican Jewish Coalition PAC. Other PACs. Total contributions, $4.19 million. Guys.
Everyone's.
And think about it, like, okay, let's look at this. What about Lindsey Graham? $1 million through early 2026. When did Graham start accepting pro-Israel money? Since 2002, Wickert's donations back from 2002. Initial federal career, Graham served in the U.S. House of Representatives in 95. 2003 to present, 17.8% of his total PAC contributions have been pro-Israel, almost 20%, 1/5. The $1 million mark. While he has accepted money for over 2 decades, his career total officially surpassed the $1 million mark during the 2019 to 2024 election cycle, largely driven by a significant surge in support. All right. So these are the people right here that are in our government calling the shots, sending our kids out to die. They're saying that we have to do this. They care so much about the Iranian people and all this. Look, I told you, I'm Iranian. I'm America first, America only at this point. I'm Iranian. I have family there. I don't care. It's not our job. It's not our business. All right. But they are taking money on behalf of this. Yeah, you have to understand this. Marco Rubio is the worst. Is there an expose showing it? Usually there is an expose. Track AIPAC. How much money had, what about Tulsi Gabbard? Let's just keep going down the list, you guys. So far, track AIPAC says 146,000. Total amount for Gabbard up to 2026 for total pro-Israel contributions. Lindsey Graham, 1 million. Marco Rubio, 4.19 million. Mike Waltz, 250,000. JD Vance, 516. $500,000. They're all compromised, guys. Here you go. Track AIPAC. Ted Cruz. We all thought Ted Cruz was the worst of them. He's not the worst. Tulsi Gabbard, 146,000 from Israel Lobby total. All these people, look at the candidate is pro-Israel. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Christy Noem, Marco Rubio, 4.19 million. Don Trump, unavailable. JD Vance, $500,000. They're all, and it's not just like the Republicans. These are potential Republican candidates. Alexandria AOC. This candidate rejects lobby contributions from Israel. Bro, she rejects that money. Tim Waltz, shill, takes the money. Rokana, 1.5 million. Same guy that's trying to do all the Epstein stuff. Rokana, 1.5 million. Mark Keli, 4.6 million. This guy right here. The one that's supposed to be the good guy. Kamala Harris, 31 million. Okay. Cory Booker, 6 million. Crazy. How about this? What about Charlie Kirk? Oh no, we need to do Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk. And yeah, I get it. At the end, he was changing, but you don't just take money and change. All right. He doesn't want to say. Okay, what about TPUSA? I mean, he was essentially TPUSA, right? These numbers are gonna these numbers are gonna make you go crazy if they show. Doesn't want to. It says 10 to okay. Major individual donors 10 to 15 million plus. All right, 5 million late 2025. The organization's political action committee raised approximately 5 million total. While many donors like Steve Wynn are prominent supporters of Israel, these funds were largely spent on event production rather than whatever. I mean, you're talking more than all of them was Turning Point. All right. Let's keep it moving. Let me read the super chat real quick. What's up? Ideas have people, $10. Thank you. I appreciate you. Is Charlie in witness protection against Erica and her Gambino crime family, human child transporting connections? They're building a case against them now. Our investigations putting them at risk. All of this stuff that Barron has put forth is just a hypothesis. It's just it's not, from what I'm seeing, it's from what I saw, it's a correlation saying that it's a similarity, that he's just raising awareness that this is how this stuff operates. Now, the Gambino stuff I've heard, but I don't know enough to speak on that. Is he in witness protection? I don't know. I think that there's a chance he could be dead. I mean, from what we saw, there's a high likelihood he's dead, but also I haven't seen anybody bring forward a full start to finish of what has happened to him besides what we have seen than Jesse. Jesse, his thesis is, it's pretty interesting. When you look at Charlie and the people around him and the likelihood of all of them just turning their backs in a way that's so vulgar over money, it's just not like. And then even with yesterday, and I think Barron raises great points, but I'm going to push back here a little bit on what Barron said yesterday regarding, I think it was yesterday, regarding the crime family or the family in general, the mafia. These people that chose that life when it came to the mafia. If you don't know, basically Baron Coleman yesterday just said, hey, like, making an guesstimation, saying like, for anybody to say that they would all not be able to get away with this and somebody would squeal or rat on the whole situation, which would be a lot of people. A lot of people are involved in this. Not one person to shed an actual real tear over Charlie Kirk that were close to him. All right. These people, I could see a few, in my opinion, maybe Andrew Colvett, I could see him being maybe capable of mafia type of, unless they were all like this from the ground up. I find these people really hard to believe that they are all in some blood oath pack of being able to retain secrets to that level. For what? For the good of America's future, for Zionism? I just don't see it. So it's either they had to get him out of the way, actually, or they said to him, Charlie, you've done us a lot of favors. Truth is, you've got to go. And either he said, I don't want to die. I don't think a lot of people said he would take the bullet, but you don't know. You don't know Charlie, bro. You don't know, right? So if he was given an opportunity to take him out, which Jesse on Fire does show very strong evidence of the fact that he could have faked it. I don't know. I tend to agree with what Jesse says, especially because I've talked with Jesse so much about it, that hours, tens of hours. And when he talks about this stuff, he makes it very clear. He's like, it's impossible. These people that he brought them in after he started doing things. Yeah, maybe when he met Erica Kirk in 2018, some of these other people surrounded him. But are these people really mobsters taking money and doing all this stuff? I don't think there's a witness protection thing as far as against Erica. But the truth will be hopefully found out more about. I think Baron and Candace are doing great work. I encourage them to continue. I think we're all getting a little bit antsy on like the same content. I personally definitely have. That's why I'm talking more about this stuff. But it's still important that we continue to drive into that conversation. I, as a newer channel, need to talk about other things, or I will get boxed in. I have lots of other things I want to talk about that I'm good at. So that's what I'm doing today. But I think coming back to Charlie consistently is important as well. When it comes to, is Charlie alive? If you can get past what your eyes saw, all right, like actually just that moment, and you look at everything else around, for me, it's particularly how many people were involved, the Phil Lyman situation, if we're going to go that direction. I can show it here. I hate that I can't find it. I have to go to my own video to find it. Here, I'll show you what I was going to show you. Let me find my video. So I made a video, of Charlie Kirk when it happened, before I got involved in the financial stuff. And it was of Phil Lyman. Yeah, here it is.
That is an actor reciting.
Right here.
Phil Lyman's aunt's Ring camera, and Phil Lyman was at his aunt's house when the boy was walking down the street. Now, this is
Mr. Lego, if you watch this, bro, you got a bad attitude about Discord.
even crazier. This is video of Phil Lyman standing, interviewing an actor that is not a student. That is an actor reciting a script that was told to him by Phil Lyman. Look at Phil Lyman's lips and look at the girl's shirt.
1, 2, 3. I saw Charlie Kirk get shot.
They count down 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, or whatever. Okay, they count down, and they're saying, you can see Phil Lyman's lips moving as they're doing this.
As in 1, 2, 3, action.
I saw Charlie Kirk get shot.
Look at this dude's lips. You can see as he's moving through here, and I'll widen it up for you so you can see it better, right? Check it out. Look at Phil Lyman.
He fell over to the side.
Look at his lips. Watch.
2, 3,
right here.
action.
I saw Charlie Kirk get shot.
He's nodding his head.
He fell over to the side. He was carried off.
Nodding and looking at the script.
He had blood on his arms. He had blood on his shirt.
So look at Phil Lyman's lips. He's kind of like reciting what he's saying to make sure he's saying it correctly. And read what is said right here also. It says, watch none other than Phil Lyman holding what appears to be a script and nodding perfectly in sync as a guy delivers his line. And the woman counting down before filming, check out her shirt. Her shirt says Lyman, I think. It's a little difficult to see.
This is all staged. It's all a big setup. And I don't know what the ultimate outcome was, except let me lower the quality and then show you something else. So then they actually, do I not show it? What's crazy is I don't know if anybody knew this, but the person that George Zinn, the guy with his pants falling down, the old dude. Oh, my internet's tripping.
So if you haven't yet, like and subscribe, please
USA
do.
hostile. I show you, and I found Phil Lyman was endorsed by George
Lyman
Zinn.
for Utah.com. And if you scroll down here, it says paid for by Phil Lyman. It's got his address, his business information. Phil Lyman is a 5th generation Utahn whose bold and fearless leadership is well known. And yeah, I would say bold, huh? Bold and fearless. Oh my God, bro. Let me just show you. Look, under the endorsement section, total support for community leader endorsements. Read what the people of Utah are saying about Phil Lyman. Now, keep in mind, the people about Phil Lyman, I was like, maybe they can put the information themselves. I was like, maybe they can endorse Phil, like maybe they can just do it themselves. And what if it's a setup, right? But I would imagine they vet the endorsements. So George Zinn, they must have just slept on it or left it by mistake. But dude, my guy, I caught you slipping, bro. We caught you slipping, dog. Look who endorsed this guy, bro. George Zinn. Rare to find a more caring man with uncompromising goals to make Utah great for generations than Phil Lyman. Not a politician.
George Zinn. He endorsed Phil Lyman. Did you guys know that? Did you know that? This guy right here. Yeah, the guy with his pants falling down. That right there really, and then when you see the student rehearsed Phil Lyman UVU Charlie Kirk. Let me see if we can find. They scrub these videos, man. Yeah, but anyways, you guys have seen it if you're watching this. Look, to be honest, when you look at how Phil Lyman acted as if it was no big deal, for me, that's what sheds light on the fact that there is like a scene going on, like a show. And when you plug all the pieces together, why would they feel so comfortable laughing about it? Nobody cries about it. You can't pay anybody enough money if you're close to somebody, even if every person got $1 billion, okay? Even from the wife all the way down, all the people. But again, you do see now the war, right? So it's like the only way I could see it actually being that he's alive and not dead is that they came to him and said, hey, we don't want to do this to you, but you got to go. And we've got a plan. Or something of that matter. But the fact remains is that he'll never come back anyways. So it doesn't matter what I say or what I think it could be. It's just the fact that he's never going to come back. I don't see a way for him to come back. So I don't think he's in witness protection against crime family and stuff. I don't think it's that. I think it's just that, hey, we've got, like, this has become bigger than you, Charlie, and it's time to move on. Like, you've done your part, okay? You didn't know it was going to turn into this, but it has. And all of this donor money, that's what it is, bro. You're going to have to take the bullet. And not in a way that literally take the bullet. It's just, you're going to have to, either literally or not. But if you look at Charlie, I need to do a show on Jesse and walk you through some of the more important parts, which we could do maybe in the next one. But that, when you see, I mean, geez, I wanted to show the Joe Kent stuff. Let me see Jesse on fire. I mean, I don't know. I'll do this a different time. I don't want to go into all of this right now. But there are a bunch of things that I think lead credence to the fact that it's not what we think, okay? And I think they wanted us to think it was. That's all. I could be wrong. But I don't think he's in witness protection. Thank you for the super sticker. My new feisty Fiesta sister. Thank you. 10 memberships. Shout out to Christy. Say thank you. Thank you,
Talking
Christy.
about this. Senator Lindsey Graham is actually bragging about this. Ted Cruz was what? Ted Cruz was on the flight.
Yep.
So what? How is this like some kind of fucked up conspiracy? Like all the signs.
Yeah. They're trying to shut people up by saying you're a conspiracy theorist, you're anti-Semitic, etc. But yet they will come out and they will say we had to attack Iran because Israel was going to attack Iran. I mean, Secretary of State Rubio said that, the president said it, many others have as well. So it's right there up in our face. And so again, for me, it was just something that I couldn't. I felt like I couldn't influence anymore from the inside, and I could no longer be a part of.
But it's insane. I mean, and even if, do you know Israel spent $6.4 billion on this war since March? You know how much the U.S. has spent?
You know, one last thing I wanted to look up is how much has Joe Kent taken from Pro 26? Let's see if he's taken any money. Is he? I'd be very surprised if he is. 0. Stance on APEX. During his 2022 House bid, Kent explicitly stated that accepting donations from that would mean putting Israel's interests ahead of ours. So he was clearly not about it, right? So that says a lot, right? It'd be easy to be like, oh, well, he took money too. Then what are we doing here? But
approximately 18 to 25 billion, with another request for another 200 billion from Congress.
Yeah.
Now, why the fuck are we the ones floating the bill for this?
Because that's the way it is every time. The Israelis will have their objectives. They will convince senior American officials that this is also their objectives. And if the Americans don't agree, then the Israelis will set off a series of actions that make us react. And the next thing you know, we're having to contribute our blood and our treasure. And that same playbook is playing out now. And I referenced the Iraq War. I referenced what happened in Syria as well in my letter, because this is the same playbook we've seen over and over again. And, you and I saw it at the tactical level when we were deployed in the war on terror. And then now I saw it at pretty senior levels take place over the course of the last year.
We're going to get into all this. I want to start by reading.
He goes into the playbook, and like the Israelis were nervous a month before this Operation Epic Fury, because Witkoff and Jared Kushner were actively closing in on a deal with Iran. All right. So a deal with Iran would mean that Iran would stay intact. Okay. The Ayatollah stayed in their place, and the Israeli strategic objective of a regime change, which Kent says flat out is their actual goal, would have been taken off the table by American diplomacy. So the Israelis launched the attack, or said they're going to launch the attack anyways, knowing that it would force Americans' hands. Rubio had said, and others also came out and stated that there was an imminent attack, and that the imminent attack was Israelis against the Iranians, which they knew would trigger Iranian retaliation. You understand? And that is what would justify U.S. entry into the conflict. This is the sequence that Kent is describing.
President Trump's statement today on Truth. I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had, over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East, based on the tenure and tone in these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone.
Let me read this super chat. They're going to get to a part here. Shout out to, hey, Lori, what's up? I see you all the time on X. Your channel will continue to blow up as you bring a unique perspective with receipts. I continue to share your work on X. I see you all the time. And I sometimes I comment as well. I appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat, Lori. You are a big part of, here, let me show your channel. You probably are somewhere in my notifications right now. Lori C. Yeah, right here. Do I not follow you? I'll follow you back. helping people build financial freedom for 25 plus years, money systems, independent thinking. You know that I keep it under 100. I'm following 102 now, so I'm gonna have to unfollow somebody. Don't tell anybody. If they're not following me, I'm gonna unfollow them. But yeah, this is Lori's channel. Thanks, Lori. Official Lori W. Big proponent of truth, right? And people like this are important. Look, she's reposting right here. These are people that are important. All right. So she likes Barron as well. She sees, bro, I had this post. I literally posted, they're screaming foreign agent at Tucker Carlson and Joe Kent, while every single one of them has been cashing checks from the same foreign lobby. And I bring the receipts: Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, Don Bacon, Mitch McConnell, Josh Guttenheimer, Mike McCall, Hakeem Jeffries, Marco Rubio. I only put the 1 million there. I'm going to make a whole post on Marco Rubio. Pam Bondi just dismantling fair oversight. And they want to say Tucker Carlson, they're trying to come after him. And this post has been so suppressed. Look at how many. I had somebody with a 200,000 person following retweet this. I have 170 reposts, 43 bookmarks, and it's got only 5,400 views. Go look at my page. Look, this post right here, 87,000 views. This one right here, I even reposted it again. I'm like, yo, this is getting suppressed. It's only got 5,000 views. Everything I post, for the most part, does pretty well. 7,000 on a post, on a space, 8,000. But this is a very important post on foreign agents going against Carlson and Joe Kent. It should get a lot more attention. And I mean, talking about Tyler Boyer, I mean, 15,000 views. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, this is what they do, is they try to suppress us because they don't want people knowing the truth. 22,000. So, I mean, go through the timeline. You'll see there's a lot of really interesting things I talk about. So appreciate you. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate the super chat a lot. Thank you. Good to see you. All right, let's go back.
President Donald J. Trump. Do you know what Iran's?
Oh, shit. My bad. Damn it. Hopefully it starts us back. Why does it want to end? Start at the end.
We're going to get into all this. I want to start by reading President Trump's statement today on truth. I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had, over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East, based on the tenure and tone in these in-depth details.
Hey, good point. If they say that BS about Tucker, then they better be saying the same effing thing on Kushner. Bro, the problem is this whole thing is like, you got to go watch my Board of Peace video. I know I keep stopping it, but everybody's mentioning such important things. There's this episode, this Washington, D.C. puts out a video from the White House, and I made a whole live stream covering it. It's the Board of Peace. It's this live stream right here, U.S. leaving United Nations. To be honest, this is probably more important. It's not suppressed. I've been branching out into geopolitics more, so it's only got 2,000 views. But you guys need to go watch this. Like, you'd be shocked. Danksters and Dank, what they're actually doing over here. They are literally, I go through the whole history on the Board of Peace, and they are literally Jared Kushner is a critical piece to this right here, the Board of Peace. This Board of Peace is we're removing ourselves from the UN. Trump created the Board of Peace, where he's the chair of, and they created it in order to reconstruct Gaza with our money, $10 billion of U.S. taxpayer funding. It was supposed to be for 3 years. He extended it to be indefinite. And then he's charging countries $1 billion to be a part of the Board of Peace so that they can get land plots and they can get benefits of tax-free representation inside of Gaza. So they're rebuilding Gaza through the Board of Peace, and they're going to step outside and around the United Nations and the UN. And Trump himself said that the UN is going to oversee the Board of Peace is going to oversee the UN. I mean, this is just crazy, dude. Let me see if I can show this part. It's crazy. I think I show it like right here. Let me see.
Of soccer, so that's not so bad, right, Charlie? I like your job.
So this is the board. A couple of things here before that's in here. So to give you some more context. Let's start right here.
The Board of Peace is going to almost be looking over the United Nations.
Let's hear that again. Let's start back.
Bring them.
I'm going to start back over here, actually, a few minutes back.
Around going to make a contribution of $10 billion. I want to let you know that the United States is going to make a contribution of $10 billion.
Very kind of you for letting them know. Thanks for letting us know, Donald.
To the Board of Peace. Thank you.
So, just so you know, they're using our money to do everything. The only way to stop it is stop paying taxes and stop voting. That's the only way.
Detailed and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period. Subject to this success of the ongoing meetings and discussions, thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Do you know what Iran's response is to this?
I've seen some.
They immediately responded. And, I would love to believe our president and our administration, but just like we talked about at the very beginning, everything that has come out has been a bait and switch, complete 180 fucking lie. This is what Iran says. The Iranian Foreign Ministry and state broadcaster IRIB stated, in quotes, "No conversation has taken place between Iran and the U.S., and Trump's claim about having these talks is false. They described it as psychological warfare intended to manipulate energy prices, markets, and buy him time." And a senior Iranian security official quoted, "Tehran is not in talks with Trump, and that he backed down from attacking energy infrastructure after Iran's credible military threats and market pressure. There has been and is not any negotiation underway." IRGC, linked outlets, and Iran's parliament speaker called reports of negotiations, in quotes, Trump's own words, fake news.
We're in a bad situation. I mean, I pray that this 5-day.
Look at what they said on that. Where's the audio? Then do we not have audio here?
You are fired. You are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The central headquarters of Khatam al-Anbiya. Ehtaram, you are fired. You are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The central headquarters of Khatam al-Anbiya. Ehtaram, you are fired.
They're mocking him.
Ehtaram, you are fired.
Trump
you are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Iran mocks Trump's joint control plan. Let's see what this is right here. Is this just some AI? It's just AI video. Yeah, you guys have heard it. They're talking shit on Trump.
Somewhat truce. I hope it lasts. The problem is the Israelis have said they won't stop striking throughout the entire period.
You're fired. You're fired. Don't worry. Before we end this video, we're going to have to watch Tony Lapidus make fun of Trump.
They came out and said they don't care.
Right. So this is the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is that we right now are not capable of restraining the Israelis. I think if President Trump focuses on it, I think he has the power to restrain the Israelis. But that's the key first step in any formula towards peace. He's got to restrain the Israelis before he can even get the Iranians to the negotiating table.
Now, there's a lot of speculation that maybe the president made that statement to jet launch the stock market today. Here's a post. Just minutes before Trump's announcement of talks with Iran, massive traders hit the market. In one move, 1.5 billion in S&P 500 futures were purchased. This trade was so large, it sent the entire index 0.3% higher that exact minute. 192 million in oil futures were also sold. These orders were 4 to 6 times larger than anything else at that time. Whoever made those trades made $60 billion. I wonder if that was Congress. I wonder if that was insider trading from Congress, the administration, the Senate.
I hope people look into that.
I hope they look into it
I hope
too.
they look into it because it definitely should be researched.
Well, a lot of people are looking into it because it's going viral on X right now, and you know
The problem
a
is,
damn good point.
Even if it was, worst case scenario, and this would be very bad, a way to make money, at the end of the day, the 5 days expire. We're still in the exact same spot that we're in, where there's going to be a stranglehold from the Straits of Hormuz. There's going to be continued escalation. Energy prices, even if they stabilize for this 5 days, what's going to happen when day 5 arrives? We have a problem that we have to solve. Again, look, I
wanted to mention something. There's this article because people are talking about California. They back in March 11th, 2 weeks ago, or like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. They said, do you remember, put a 1 in the chat if you remember when they were talking about that California is going to be attacked by Iran. Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat, or a C or a 1 for California. Do you remember this? They were talking about this, right? And there's a couple lines in here that I have noted. So let me read this here. California could be attacked by drones because of Iran war. Memo warns. Officials downplay threat. So law enforcement agencies across California were recently warned. Okay, so you all know, right? That Iran war could lead to a surprise drone attack in the Golden State, but sources told the Times. Sorry. In a memo sent to agencies that are part of a federal joint terrorism task force, the government said, we recently acquired information that as early as February 2026, Iran allegedly aspired to conduct they're basically just trying to say that Iran is going to attack the US, okay? But if you look here, right here, it says, a source with knowledge of the memo who was not authorized to discuss it publicly said the warning was issued based on intelligence received by the U.S. Coast Guard. Law enforcement sources experienced in intelligence said such alerts are cautionary in nature. The sources experienced in counterterrorism and said that it's not been deemed credible at this time. All right. So they're saying the entire story rests on the word aspired, not planned, not operationalized, not resourced. Iran allegedly wanted to do something. That is the intelligence. A country that is actively getting destroyed by the U.S. and Israel wants to hit back. That is not intelligence. That is common sense. I want $1 billion. I want to go take $1 billion from the stock market. You're gonna just put it all over the newspaper that Danks is threatening to go take $1 billion from the stock market? Everyone will laugh at me. Okay. So they can't just purely lie. If they can, it's the LA Times. They can, but they have to try to maintain some credibility. So they're gonna create fear mongering. All right, this is all part of the stock exchange and trading and all that shit too. It's all the same shit. I just want to share that with you. Don't worry. They want to create fear. Maybe they're setting up. Maybe you need to worry. Maybe they're trying to set up a false flag. I don't know. But you got to smell it, right?
I believe that President Trump can solve it. Restrain the Israelis, work with the GCC countries. That's the way to get out of this.
Well, Joe, let me give you a quick introduction, because I think a lot of people have forgotten just exactly who the fuck you are and what you've done for this country. Let's talk about your resignation.
I'll play it.
Well, Joe, let me give you a quick.
This is important to know who this dude is.
introduction because I think a lot of people have forgotten just exactly who the fuck you are and what you've done for this country. So Joe Kent, former director of National Counterterrorism
Like,
Center,
subscribe,
retired
share
Green
this.
Beret, former
Please hit that
member
like
of a
button.
classified special missions unit, former CIA paramilitary officer, Gold Star spouse with 11 combat deployments, 6 Bronze Stars, author of Send Me, The True Story of a Mother at War, a tribute to Shannon's courage and a testament to what real service looks like. Trusted by President Trump as his foreign policy advisor and the leader who most recently served as head of counterterrorism for the United States of America, now being investigated by the FBI for leaking classified information. I wonder how many of the pedophiles that were in the Epstein files, I wonder how many of those pedophiles have active FBI investigations on them. Probably fucking zero. Fucking zero. As of this recording, Polymarket says there is a 13% chance that U.S. forces will enter Iran.
Here we go. Polymarket. Why do you think Polymarket has become so prominent all of a sudden in 2026? Why? You should know now, right? You should know now. Because you see, I showed you. The fucking Trump family owns Polymarket, bro. So they're trying to, like, this is some of the, I was talking with Jesse on Fire yesterday, or this morning, one of the two. And I was like, bro, is it possible that he didn't have anything? He had no comment. I was just texting him. I was like, is this really possible that the administration would steep this low to use social media and predictive markets to make money while threatening global war? Because do those other countries really know what's going on? Or like, is that what's happening? Like, let's do this. Let's get an honest opinion. I'm not looking for bias here. I'm going to create a poll. Do you think that Trump admin is intentionally creating global instability for trading, betting markets? Yes, no. Let me know in the poll. On YouTube, I put a poll in the chat. You can click, I think, live chat or something. The poll says, do you think that Trump admin is intentionally creating global instability for trading and betting? That's crazy if so. Honey Buns, what's up? $10. Thanks for all you do, Danks. Let's chat soon about the NGOs I'm starting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned this to me, right? Are you on Discord? I think you're in my Discord, no? Make sure you join the Discord on Patreon. It's just $5. That way you can connect with me directly. What's up, Mark? Good to see you, bro.
And by March 31st.
Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I think you're in Discord. If not, though, join me so we can talk.
And a 19% chance of a U.S.-Iran ceasefire by March 31st. What do you think about those odds?
Man, a ceasefire, I'm skeptical. Again, until the Israelis are restrained, there won't be a ceasefire. Boots in the ground, as you know, when you have combat resources in theater and you've got active combat going on, saying that you can control any of these factors is more of a wish than a plan. So my fear is that we could rapidly escalate.
Let's talk about your resignation.
It's funny, like, when you say this, because then Death Queen, what a name, bro. I hope it's a chick. That would be kind of funny if it was a chick with your name, Death Queef 69. It's funny you say that, because what if they were all in on it? What if Russia was in on it, China was in on it, Iran was in on it, Israel was in on it? I don't think so. People are dying. But what if they were like, all right, let's go all in on Polymarket, bro. I mean, it seems a little crazy, no? But could it be that out of control? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment, in the pin. There's only 24 votes in the pin comment. I want to know, in the pin, vote in the poll. Do I need to put a thing in here? Vote on the poll in the YouTube polling station. Vote. Let me see. Can I copy this? Yeah. Here we go. Boom. Let's add a ticker. Can I edit this? Scroll ticker. Slow, fast, normal. Boom. Vote.
And what was it? I mean, how long have you been frustrated with what's going on?
Basically, since the lead up to the first iteration of our conflict with Iran in June, I was very frustrated that we had kind of backed ourselves into a corner artificially. I was and remain a big supporter of President Trump's overall thesis of foreign policy, of peace through strengths, of stopping us from getting involved in costly wars. In particular with Iran, I think President Trump was uniquely postured to cut a great deal with Iran. He had, in the first Trump administration, he had killed Qasem Soleimani, the terror mastermind. Once he left office, the Iranians went right back up to their old tricks. They funded their proxies. They were attacking our troops in the region. October 7th happened. America generally was not respected by the Iranians. When Trump came back into office, the Iranians automatically said, okay, wait a sec, this is a whole different administration. We might be able to cut a deal with this guy, but also if we don't, he will use force like he did against Qasem Soleimani. So they stopped their proxies from attacking us. The last time I was on your show, we were talking about how there had been over, I think, 150, 200 attacks against our forces in Iraq and Syria. That stopped when Trump came into office because the Iranians knew who was back. They also knew that President Trump was willing to make a deal and actively seeking a deal. President Trump deployed, I think, a very, very competent diplomat, Steve Witkoff, to go get a deal going with the Iranians. Now, this was a major threat to the Israelis because the Israelis viewed this as the prime time and Trump as the prime vehicle to use for regime change in Iraq. Now, President Trump's stated policy had been, and he says this all the time, that Iran can't have a nuclear bomb. Now, the Iranians actually agreed with President Trump, and they had a prohibition, a fatwa, a religious decree on actually producing a nuclear weapon that had held since 2004. And what the Iranians did say was like, hey, we're not going to make a nuclear bomb, but we want the ability to enrich uranium because they had seen what had taken place in Libya and Iraq. And they said, hey, if we go the Gaddafi route in Libya and say, here's all of our nuclear making material, then they're a sitting duck. Then they can be invaded and regime changed at any given time. They saw the Saddam route. If they actually pursued a weapon or even like kind of BS'd that they had a weapon, that same thing, they would be immediately invaded. So they kind of had this ability to say, hey, we have a prohibition of a nuclear weapon, but we have some ability to enrich. This was a major threat to the Israelis' goal. So what I watched the Israelis do over the course of the last year was use their government officials engaging with our government officials, but then also their surrogates in the media, Mark Levin, who I'll talk to tonight, mainstream media, think tanks, Foundation for Defense of Democracies, a lot of talking heads on Fox News, to move the red line. So Trump had said, my red line is no nuclear weapons. The Ayatollah said, great, I don't want nuclear weapons either. Let's talk. So they moved the red line by saying enrichment. Iran can have no enrichment. Enrichment equals a nuclear weapon, which is just fundamentally not true. So that would be parroted from officials in the Israeli government and then also on the news.
I mean, let's backtrack.
Yeah.
I don't think not one of our 18 intelligence agencies had mentioned that Iran was enriching uranium, correct?
They were doing enrichment to some degree. So there was enrichment
for no nuclear weapons.
But no nuclear weapons.
No
and
nuclear
we
weapons.
knew all 18 intelligence agencies agreed.
I want to simplify this because what Ken is trying to explain over the last few minutes is basically one of the most important things he's probably going to say in this whole interview, which I haven't seen it yet, which I'm going to watch after this, is that there are two different things that get deliberately confused every single time someone talks about Iran and nuclear weapons on television. All right. The first thing is the enrichment of uranium. The second thing is the actual building of a nuclear bomb. All right. These are so far from the same thing. It's not even funny. They're not even close to the same thing. And the entire justification for this war depends on you not knowing the difference. All right. Here's the simplest version is that uranium comes out of the ground. It in its natural state, it is mostly useless for energy or any type of combustible weapon, right? To make it useful, you have to run it through a process which is called it's enrichment, and that it basically enrichment is a concentrated like fissile material inside of it. Okay. So if you enrich the uranium to about 3 to 5% concentration, then you can run a nuclear power plant. All right. If you enrich it about, I don't know, 20%, you can run certain types of research reactors, nuclear. If you enrich it to 90% or above, then it's called weapons grade. That means you're working towards a bomb. Okay. The enrichment process is the same basic technology at every level. And what changes really is how long you run it and how far you take the concentration. So enrichment by itself does not mean that you are building a bomb. It means you have the technology that you could eventually push towards building one if you so wanted to. Now, those are very different things. Iran had enrichment capability. Iran was enriching uranium, all right? Iran was not enriching to weapons grade. They were not building a bomb. And Kent is sitting here telling us on camera that all 18 United States intelligence agencies confirmed that the Iranians had a religious decree, which is called a fatwa, in place. They've had it in place since 2004, and it completely prohibited them from actually developing a nuclear weapon. A fatwa is basically in the Islamic tradition is not a suggestion, all right? It is a binding religious prohibition. A fatwa is a prohibition. The supreme leader issued this. The intelligence community has confirmed it. And they confirmed that it was holding as well. Tulsi Gabbard had testified to it publicly. So this is not contested at all. It's not a contested assessment. It was the consensus of every intelligence agency in the United States. Okay, every single one. Trump's red line was no nuclear weapon. Iran had agreed to no nuclear weapon. They had already had this fatwa since 2004. That is the receipt. Let's make sure I'm right. A fatwa, Ali Khamenei, fatwa against nuclear weapons. A fatwa by Ali Khamenei, then supreme leader of Iran, against the development of nuclear weapons dates back to the mid-1990s, even further back. And the first public reported announcement is October of 2003 by an official statement at a meeting in the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, Austria, in August of 2005. The Iranian official website for information on its nuclear program. Let me tell you something. You know I'm Iranian. I told you. These people, our people, the culture is very honest. They will tell you to your face the truth. They're not deceitful type of people. Now, I can't speak on the radical Shiite, if there is such. I don't know. But I can tell you from an Iranian perspective, a supreme leader who's obviously there are not good things happening. But if they're going to put something on paper, a religious document, they're going to adhere to it. They take their religion much more seriously than most religions would imagine. Much more seriously than I see Christians taking their Christianity. I'm telling you, these people, like, imagine to have to pray 5 times a day and be excited to do it. Stop everything. The whole country stop. Like, they live, breathe, eat, shit, everything. Their religion. And this is a religious doctrine. It's a judicial religious doctrine. So when they say that they have a prohibition against mass destructive weapons, they're not going to do it. And this has been in state. They've never said they're going to have one. They've always said they weren't. Having an enrichment facility You can do a lot of great things with it. I'm not defending the negative things that they've done and the terrible impact that they've had on certain people's lives. Obviously, lately we've seen some crazy shit. But what is true and what is propaganda? We don't know. We're only being fed what they want us to know, unless somehow we get some video from somewhere. Iran is completely cut off. I can't get a hold of anybody there, even if I wanted to. I haven't tried. But nobody can get a hold of anybody over there, right? So we're going to be told whatever we're going to be told. And the fact is, they're lying to us. They've been lying to us. There's no weapon there. They're just enriching and then they were actually selling. They were making money off of enrichment. They were selling it. I think they were selling it to, who was Iran selling their higher grade enriched uranium to? They were selling it. They said they were selling it. Iran's higher grade uranium, specifically material enriched to 60% purity, remains a central point of international tension. No, they agreed that they were giving it. But anyways, I'm not here to defend or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, in March 2026, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi suggested Iran might be willing to downblend. I mean, yeah, I guess if you're going up to 60, what can you do with 50 to 60% enriched uranium? Highly enriched uranium, while it is below 90% weapons grade, its military potential use. Crude nuclear, experts have demonstrated that at least 40 to 50 kill. Then maybe, but like they're saying, enriching to 60% is a stepping stone. Medical research, high-grade uranium can be used as targets in research reactors. See, that's the thing, is you can create reactors. You can power a whole, you know that we could power the entire country with a nuclear reactor, right? Like all of this electrical grid bullshit is all just for money. They could power the whole world on nuclear reactors, and it would cost very, very little money. How much money would it? Okay, could the United States power the entire country from 5% enriched uranium nuclear reactors? If not, how much percent and how much would it cost per household? Like everything they're doing is just for paper, man. Cannot power the entire country. You'd need about 18 to 19%. So what if you're trying to empower the whole country? You need 20%. For 100% nuclear power, 400 to 500 additional large-scale reactors, grid stability, estimated cost 2 to 5 trillion, annual bill increase. Says increase, but I think they're the construction costs. After construction, how much would it cost just to run a house on a nuclear grid? 2,000 square feet or 1,500 square feet, 2,500 square feet. $40 to $70 per month. That's what it would cost on the high end, $70. Measure Man, good to see you, big dog. Sliding through, Savvy says if you email her, put Measure Man and your topic in email, that helps her prioritize. Yeah, absolutely. Does she want me to email her? Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, I can reach out. Does she want to have me on or something? I'm happy to go on. I'd love to. Thanks for letting me know. I'll reach out. So yeah. Oh, why do I keep clicking that button, bro? Let's see if there's anything on Charlie Kirk in here. We're going to end it soon, I think. Unless there's something. Sleeper cells. Tulsi and internal dissident. Ooh, what does he got to say on that?
Where does Tulsi stand in all this stuff?
Oh shit.
She's obviously in a tough spot, so I don't want to say anything else that's going to put her in a tougher spot than she's already in. She's doing the best that she can.
How many people up there are against what we're doing?
It's hard to put a number on it. Look, I mean, you know how the government is.
Maybe a percentage.
Yeah. Most people that serve in the government, I've found, they want to make their boss happy, and they don't want to. They don't want any friction at work, and they want to salute and they want to move out.
You know, I think that's where everybody's lost it.
100%. I agree.
Fucking job is to protect and serve the people of the United States.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And look, there's a lot of good patriots that are still there who think that they're doing the right thing. And this is a dilemma that I had. I was like, well, do I stay here and do I soldier on and be a good soldier? And do I show up every day and, do my darndest? And then if the big strategic picture gets messed up, well, that's not really on me. I did that for 20 plus years in the military and in the agency, and kind of see where that got us, right? When we knew better, see where that got us. And so like I said, 20 plus years ago, I made a promise to myself, if I ever had the ability to speak out and and try to get us on a better path, I would do so. If my late wife hadn't gotten killed, if I hadn't been through the experiences I had been through, I don't think I have the clarity and the courage to do what I'm doing now. So I am sympathetic to people who are inside, who are still like, hey, I'm just a guy. I'm not that important. I'm trying to do my job. I'll do what I'm told. However, the people who came in, with President Trump, in Keli.
I think I'm gonna stop there on Kent. I do want to say though, he basically said, I do not want to say anything else that is going to put her in a tougher spot than she is already in. She is doing the best she can. That is a carefully constructed non-answer from a man who spent a year working directly under Tulsi Gabbard as her subordinate at the NCTC. A man who just resigned. Oh, we're not going to end yet. We're going to play Tony Lapidus. But I do want to say this before I do that, because we're going to end on it. This has been kind of a grim show, but I like to end with something positive. So I'm going to show you something funny. But he carefully contracted that, or said that statement. Okay. He resigned publicly and said everything on camera that he could legally say without exposing himself to a criminal prosecution for disclosing classified information again. A man who named Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Mark Levin, Fox News, the Israeli government officials, think tanks, the Foundation for Defense of Democracies by name. A man who insinuated on 2 separate podcasts this week that a foreign nexus investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination was shut down before it was complete. Actually, we should probably see if he talked about that. Let me go back to it and see. I didn't see anything about Charlie Kirk unless I missed it. Here, it's in here somewhere. Let's see. Do they talk about Charlie Kirk? Fixing APAC influence. That might be interesting, actually. Maybe we'll play a little bit more then. I mean, I don't mind sticking around. I don't want to play the dude's whole show. There's nothing about Charlie Kirk in here. Let's go to this part. Fixing APAC issue.
How do we solve the APAC problem?
I think we need heavy legislation and regulation on the ability for foreign governments to come in, and even using cutouts, because AIPAC will say, no, this isn't affiliated with Israel. These are Americans who support Israel. And that, I think, by and large is true, but they're advocating.
What did he say? Thanks. Quit being a conspiracy theorist. Terrorists. What? It was only $1.5 billion in 1 minute. What's suspicious about that? I know. I'm sorry, bro. I don't mean to fear monger and lie to everybody and make it such a big deal. It's not that big of a deal.
Getting for policies that just support a foreign government. So there's got to be some regulation on, foreign agents. There's got to be some regulation on having political fundraising PACs and mechanisms that just support the agenda of a foreign country. What that is, I don't exactly know. I mean, there's
Well, what is it? What does that change if they register as a foreign agent?
They need to ban lobbying. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, dude. You literally just ban lobbying. But they won't. It's so lucrative. It's so lucrative. Marco Rubio might be our next president if AOC doesn't. Gavin Newsom can't win, bro, unless it's that bad. I think AOC has a better chance, even though she's young. Can she even run? Is she old enough?
Because Saudi's got a huge.
Yeah, she can run. She's 36. I think you need to be 35. But dude, that's not the side that we want to see. This is like communist shit, bro. I'm telling you, they're powered by their money on that side is powered by communism. George Soros. We don't want that. I don't know. We're stuck into between two really bad places, you guys.
Huge lobbying for.
Yeah.
So what does that change?
I don't think it changes much. I think you just are aware. It's more of a upfront. To my knowledge, someone can fact check me on this. I'm not a foreign agent registry expert by any means, but I think once someone is registered under FARA, like they can't get a government contract.
Okay.
I think they can resign from the position they're in where they had to register under FARA, and then I think they can slide back into. It's not like a forever thing by any means. The problem with the money side is that the Supreme Court basically ruled that money is speech. And just like they can't tell you what you can and can't say, the government can't tell you how you can spend your money. So if you want to put your money into a super PAC, you can put an unlimited amount in there. And I think that's basically been the death of our political system ever since.
You know what I think? So what I think is that because they created this decision where that money is speech, and he just mentioned it. I think I have a Wikipedia page. So, Citizens United, a landmark decision regarding campaign finance laws, where the court held that laws restricting the political spending of corporations and unions are inconsistent with free speech clauses. Like, this is how they get around of just fucking every one of us. So, guess what? They've deemed money as, like, if you donate for a specific cause, it's like your speech, like you're just giving an opinion. But it's money, bro. It's not like a text message. It's actual money. So it has a lot more influence than words do. That's the biggest problem. And the thing is that they hide it inside of a PAC. So you don't even know who's donating what. You know how hard it is? Johnny Harris made a video. And is he an op? I don't know. But he does good work. He did a video talking about tracking PAC money. This is a really good show right here. He literally says how billionaires buy elections. This right here, bro. So hard to track this money. That's the problem. And if speech were actually, I think that your name should be tied to everything. Absolutely. If you're gonna speak and it's gonna be a voice on behalf of you, your name should be on behalf of this. Your name should be on every dollar. It shouldn't be thrown and lumped together with some bullshit fucking PAC.
I've been looking for a video that has almost entirely disappeared from the internet. But I finally got a copy.
When Donald Trump was president, life was a lot better. He's been clear. He does not support a federal abortion ban. And that's why I'm with Trump.
Okay. So why did someone put a bunch of effort into scrubbing it from the entire internet? That's the first thing I want to find out. It's time to print some paperwork.
Put a yes in the chat, a Y for yes, you know who this person is, Johnny Harris. Put a no if you don't. I would love, you guys need to watch this dude. He puts out, I've made money off this guy from investment decisions.
In October of 2024, someone spent around $20 million on digital media, like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, supporting Donald Trump. Meta publishes data about this spending. In one of those reports, we see that they spent around $350,000 to show a version of this ad targeting mostly women under 44 and focusing almost entirely on Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Okay, we're getting somewhere, but who paid for the ad? Well, these ads are required to disclose who paid for it. And right here in the video, you can see that it was, quote, paid for by RBG PAC. PAC stands for Political Action Committee, and RBG is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the liberal pro-choice Supreme Court justice.
It's
So
a
did
good
she pay
video.
for it?
I'll put the link in the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. I gotta bounce. But I will say, here's what I'll leave you with today. Joe Kent is a retired Green Beret with 11 combat deployments, 6 bronze, we've heard it, 6 bronze stars, who resigned with the most senior counterterrorism position in the United States government and has publicly said twice, just in the last 7 days, that Iran posed no imminent threat. Israel had manufactured the justification for this war, that the Charlie Kirk foreign nexus investigation was shut down before it was even started, that 13 Americans are dead in a war that did not have to happen, and there's probably more, and that people who got us here are still in the building and they're gaining more and more control. He also said Trump cannot get us. He can get us. He said that Trump can get us out of all of this if he just listens to different voices and takes drastic action. But he says, and he's right, every day that goes by, it gets harder and harder. There's only a few days of a window where he would need to be aggressive to do this. And if Trump is paying any attention, which he obviously doesn't care, but he should care what his audience thinks. 50,000 troops plus are in the Middle East. Now we got people showing boots on ground potentially. Someone made $1.5 billion on a ceasefire announcement within 5, 10, 15 minutes before it went public. The man who ran on American counterterrorism says the investigation into the assassination of the man who was trying to stop this war was shut down before it was finished. Speaking of Charlie Kirk. This is crazy, man. What is this country turning into? Where real Americans are being shut out, silenced, sued, brought under investigation. Tucker Carlson. It's terrible. It's terrible. I don't support this. And that you want to make me like someone against the country because I'm against. No, man. If anything, this is the most American thing one could do. Whatever Joe Kent did, he might have fucked up. I don't know. Maybe he did leak info about Charlie Kirk to set. Like, this is bullshit. Like, it could be that Joe Kent was texting Tucker and was on a group chat and saying, I think that there was something here tying these people to Charlie Kirk's death. If so-called, this is the reality of what happened if Charlie Kirk is actually dead, like what is most likely the case. So, and also, I don't want people to get confused on what I say, like if he could be alive and what the most likely case is that he's dead. But also, there's a high chance that he's not, only because of the grace that maybe if they had it, which the more and more days that go by, maybe he doesn't have any grace. I don't know. I'm gonna ask Jesse to come on the show. Put a W in the chat. Put a J in the chat. If you want me to ask Jesse, he'll come on if I ask him. If you want us to do a live stream, I'll ask him if he has time next week. Put a J in the chat for Jesse if you want me to have him on. And maybe we can have Jesse in the chat on a live stream. Because there's a lot of questions I still have. We've had a lot of conversation about it. And I'd like to have him on with our audience. And you guys can ask questions. I think that we all need to talk with Jesse. All right. So welcome to Rita. Let me see all the J's. Dang, look at all these J's, bro. J. Jesse. Hold on, let me call him. Let's call Jesse. Let's see if he answers. Is he gonna send me the voicemail? If he doesn't answer, I'm gonna be pissed. Can we put him on the spot? Oh. All right. I'll talk to him later. But we'll get him on and then we'll have a conversation. Because there's a lot of questions I want to talk to him about. And I think that him being the one to explain best, because there's like, when he explains it in the way he does, it's very convincing. He's very convincing. Like a lot of times I'll ask people about Candace and like, damn, bro, how is she so convincing? But some people are also just really convincing. But when you see someone put receipts and evidence and information out and adds up all of these timelines and all of these things to make sense, he's watching. Maybe he's watching. He's like, I don't want to be put on the spot. It's interesting for sure. And I think all topics should be had. All conversations should be had. That way we can at least stay open-minded. Hey, Rita, thanks for the memberships. But anyways, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to get some food. And I got some coding to do. We're going to be launching clubvatra.com. It's not live yet. It's up. We were going to launch with a larger influencer, Jesse, and maybe a few others. But we're going to start smaller. I'm going to put myself on there. It's basically a competitor to Patreon, where you can create communities and the fans can you get more of the fans' money as a creator, and then also the creator gets more of the money. I got to take this call. It's from the auto repair. So I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one. I'll talk to you later. Peace. Yo. Hello?